action to be able to learn the skills, the tricks of the trade, the tips to success, also how to overcome some fears, get a little bit more belief, all the above, so that you can go out and enroll at least one person per week. I know that's an ambitious goal. And to some on this call, I'm sure it feels completely unreachable, but I will make you a guarantee. If you talk to enough people, I promise you, you can enroll one or more people a week. I promise. It's just a matter of how many people to talk to. Some of you are more effective. Some will talk to one and get one enrollment. Some will talk to 100 and maybe get one enrollment. And doesn't mean you're good or bad. It just means that sometimes that's just the way it goes. But I will make you that promise. If you talk to enough people, you will enroll at least one person per week. It's kind of the way it works. So with that in mind, I'm excited about our guest tonight. You know, I usually have a testimonial or transformation story in the beginning of someone who's actually been out and enrolling people. And then I have a special guest. But tonight we have two special guests. And I was excited they agreed to be with me tonight. And physically, they're in the same vicinity, but they're, I'm sure, at their hotel room. And they've been with us for the last day and a half here in Salt Lake City. And so I thought, you know what, let's get them on a call tonight and kind of get their feelings about how it felt to be here in Utah and see the building and meet with the company and kind of get their perspective firsthand of being here. Everybody knows Aaron and Ginger are all in. There's no question, never been a question. But how did this last day and a half affect them? So please welcome our friends, Aaron and Ginger Decker. Are you guys there?
How you doing, Rick?
Hey, guys.
Doing great. You look so great, the two of you. I can't believe it. I love that. So, hey, I set you up pretty good, but tell us, like, how has this last day and a half kind of impacted your belief, your ambition, your excitement, and what are some of the things that stood out to you in the last day and a half?
So, number one, you guys, here's the thing. No matter where you're at in this company, no matter why you're here, you're always increasing your belief, right? Like, you can never have too much belief, not in the concept, not in the company, but in the people, right? And for me, it's always, and I know Rick talks about this all the time on this call, but you guys, the core is the relationships. And of course, a lot of us are out in the field and we go and we get to meet people just out in Destin and Florida and got to see a lot of you. And, you know, you get to hang out on Zooms, which is pretty cool, right? Technology is great. But what was fun for us is we wanted to come and experience what's new, what's going on firsthand. And I'll tell you that you never spend bad money or time when you get to go out and experience something like we just got to experience. So from Carol, the front desk lady, who's just absolutely amazing, right? I love Carol, right? She's the best, because you walk in and here's this lady and she's just this cheerful, fun, bubbly person. And that was the first exposure to this new age of our company, right? And that's so important. And from Carol, the lady that is the receptionist, up to the chairman of the board or soon to be chairman of the board, and everybody in between in every department, what you experienced was, Rick, it was really cool because we got to have a lot of conversations with people in their different departments. Mm-hmm. And it was some people that we knew from the ARIIX side that came over, and it was some people that came over from a different company and some people that were already a part of NewAge. And here for me, Rick, what really was a resounding, okay, it's not just go time, it's grow time, is every person, and they didn't even know that they all did this without exception in the different departments. The kind of the theme was, and I'll paraphrase, was, okay, we've got the visionaries, quote unquote, at the top of this thing, at the top executive level. These guys are like, their vision is so expanded, right? Like 10 billion is nothing. Let's go to 20 billion and beyond. And it takes a certain person to do that. But the magic, you guys, is this. with Rick and his leadership and these different department heads and how they're all empowered. But the whole message for all of them is we want to make sure that we create the glue and the tools to make it work for all of us, because you can't be up here doing multi-million and billion-dollar deals and worry about this down here. But again, I'll go back to Carol, the first lady that I got to meet. She's doing her job the best she can do it. And everybody, you guys, it didn't matter what floor, it didn't matter what department, everybody is maximizing and empowered is a word that I'm going to use to be the best that they can be at their job, at their piece of this puzzle. And Rick, the vision that I just had while we were just kind of thinking is, you've got this massive puzzle and everybody collectively is pushing their piece to fit, and we're almost ready to have it all come together. And it's a beautiful thing.
That's cool. Ginger, how about you?
Wow, how do I go after that?
I know, right?
That's exactly what we experienced. And, everyone has this energy of excitement with what's going on. Not that we didn't before, but because things are about to blow. They really are. We're right at the cusp of that. And the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. And, we understand that there's technology and different things that are coming, but we really don't understand the extent to which that is going to be done with this company, with what they're putting together. I mean, I can't even comprehend some of the things from the technology side that we're doing. We may not think that we have a great website and a great app and all that now, but just wait, because we talked to some of the people who are putting it together behind the scenes that have been doing this and developing tech that is way far beyond anything that you've ever seen out there. So it's pretty darn exciting. And the building's pretty cool too, getting to watch all of that through the glass, the manufacturing. So it was just a great experience all the way around, and seeing how everyone's kind of coming together, and the different marketing people with this marketing team and this marketing team, and how they're merging and they're kind of figuring out their place. Guys, just wait, because it's right there. The top is about to blow off this explosion here.
I need to say something. No, don't wait.
Don't wait.
Don't
wait.
Don't wait.
But get excited about what's coming.
Go, you guys go. But go ahead, Rick.
Well, I was going to elaborate, or have you elaborate, because Ginger just referred to meeting some people that are involved. And I don't think it's any secret for anybody that's on this website or that's on this Zoom that our website, our shopping experience is less than stellar. So I'm not like giving away the secret or anything, but some companies would go about that one way, meaning, hey, we've got the talent inside. We'll put it together. We'll do this. We'll make it better. It's kind of like, okay, we got some duct tape over here, and we're going to do this over there. You had a chance to meet somebody that's new to the equation. This is not a guy that has risen up through the ranks, that started as a IT guy, and now he's designing the website, and because he's, last man standing. This is a guy that is rare. And we plucked him from some very successful enterprises. And so that's a great kind of, Ginger, you set it up perfectly, a little segue into without giving away too many secrets, because when you come in the building, people have loose lips. And so they kind of, throw it out there, but kind of share a little bit about what you got from your meeting with Brett today.
So here's what I'll say unequivocally. Number one, here's a guy that knows exactly not just what we need, but what this industry needs 5 years, 10 years down the road. Conversation, the old way of doing business, it's changed forever. The problem is for most companies, and even for a lot of us, we're still trying to fit the old way into change, and it won't work. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you this, spending just 15 minutes, and he showed us some of the stuff that he's done. So this isn't something that he's planning on doing, something that he's got an idea that might work. This is stuff that it's active and it's done. It is mind blowing. Rick, I'm telling you, take away all the mergers, acquisitions, take away the new technology that's coming first quarter, take all of that out of the equation. We're a $10 billion company just with the stuff that he's going to implement. I'm just telling you, that's what I walked away with. And I'm like, holy cow. We're not going to be a Me Too. We're not going to be a someday. And this isn't like eons away. One thing that I loved what he said, I'm a startup guy. I like to get stuff done. I'm ready to roll. I've dug into some of this stuff. Like, we can do this, and I can do, you guys, it's crazy. It is crazy, crazy cool.
Well, you've told me, and when I say you, I'm going to say both of you, Todd, Ken, Chris, you've said, you know what? If we can just make that process streamlined, simpler, and Amazon.com-ish in a sense of just like really streamlined, Katie bar the door. I mean, because that's the only thing that's keeping us from like the speed of momentum, because we are going into momentum anyway. But now if you can accelerate the speed of momentum by making it simple and duplicatable just like that, that's what you're seeing, right?
Rick, it's not just simplifying it. It's beyond what I thought was possible. I can promise you that. It's beyond what I thought. I mean, we hope just for a simple process. I didn't even believe that technology like this existed.
Well, and like you said, Brett is bringing it because he started his own companies. He has patented processes already that he created that he's bringing to the table. So
the one-handed 20-second checkout. Like,
I'm sorry, what?
He calls it like, yeah, the one-handed 20-second checkout. Like, meaning you can
Okay,
do it.
maybe people on this call didn't hear you very well. Maybe you should say that a little bit slower one more time.
He talked about the one-handed, meaning using your phone to check out, 20-second checkout. Now, all of you who've tried to, whether it's sign up a new distributor or help a customer check out, it's not even close to 20 seconds. So he knows what he's doing, and he sees what he has, what we have in terms of technology, but he also sees what we have in terms of growth, and he can make them match.
Well, and that is the key right there, is that he is so excited to bring this technology and knowledge and experience that he has to an industry where he believes by doing this, it's going to like open up the floodgates, and he sees it very clearly. It's pretty cool.
The other thing, Rick, that I loved is, just kind of something, so a fun fact for anybody that's not been there. So by the way, everybody in that building, including, it doesn't matter if it's our CEO, all the way, everybody has a cubicle, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's no offices.
Nope.
Except one.
Yeah.
And the guy that we were just talking about has the only office in the building. He also has the resources. He said, here's what they said. Here's what you got. Tell us what you need, whatever you need. Make us the best social selling company in the world.
Yeah.
And he says, I can do it. But you guys, he showed us some of the stuff. Like we will be that and a whole lot more.
Yeah. And a bag of chips. Well, no, because that would be unhealthy. So one of the things that Brent Willis said on Tuesday on the 8th on the ARIIX Live, and if you weren't on that call and if you haven't listened to it, he said something really extraordinary. With something that the company just did, we have $60 million in cash in the bank. I mean, think about that for a minute. First of all, we're a public company. And so you can make acquisitions, you can work with vendors in a different way when you have stock, because you have leverage. But we also have $60 million in the bank. So, and there is no higher priority right now than what Aaron and Ginger are saying. So this is not pie in the sky. It's not maybe going to happen. It's not, somewhere in the distant future it may happen. This is real, and it's now. And so I'm going to echo what Aaron said. You can wait. I mean, like anything else you can choose to do. You can wait until you see it for real, or you can build a dream around it now. Just speak to that a little bit.
building a dream around it. You know, you guys, here's the thing, and this is another thing that's fun about being around big thinkers is and again, I don't want to, this isn't against anybody, but sometimes some of us, we think too small. And we think about, man, if I just had enough money to pay the car note, if I just had enough money to pay the house note, and that's and nothing against anybody that's what you want. But what I'm telling you is, if you're in that space, with all due respect, you're thinking too small. Rick, I firmly believe every person that's on this Zoom, and especially those that just they plug in week after week after week after week after week, and you're looking for, or maybe in some cases waiting for, that one gold nugget. The one gold nugget might just be that we need to expand our vision of what we're looking for, right? And so to build that dream around what you want, I know I did today. I expanded that. And all of a sudden it opens your mind up to more possibilities, but also it gives you this, I just saw somebody putting some fire on there. It puts a fire up under your butt that some of us need to go out there and get after it. Like, if it wasn't so far, I'd start running home tonight, but it's a little bit of a journey, so I'm going to wait for the airplane. But truly, I mean, I've not been off the phone since I walked out of the building, you guys, and that's why it's so important to get around. Whether it's a Destin event, whether it's coming here, whether it's the thing maybe that's gonna, it doesn't matter what event, and it doesn't. This is proof. This wasn't a planned event. This was a last minute deal. Like, we booked this flight like 4 days ago. And it was just something that I believed was necessary for where we're at and where we want to go, and what we can add value to, not just our team, but to the whole ARIIX community. And it's, you guys start to believe more than what you thought you could believe.
Let's expand on that a minute, but before we do, Ginger, you had a chance. We walked around a little bit, and along that top row, there's a big space of labs and testing and all sorts of stuff like that. What was your impression of all that?
That was really impressive. So, being able to have kind of in your own house, literally, millions of dollars of lab technology to analyze and test, and that was pretty cool to see. And you can see it all through the glass. It's like these big kitchens with obviously the juices and all of that, but the microscopes and just all the different machines. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and not all companies have that sort of thing. I mean, it's not. Most companies in our industry are marketing companies, and I'm not suggesting we're not, but when you have a manufacturing facility and those kind of testing, and a couple of things that Dan said when he was taking us on the tour, and most of us on this call are ARIIX. There might be a few that are possibly with Noni that we invited to be on the call tonight, but we have not been all that familiar with Tahisha Noni and the value of Noni. I know you have, because that's your business to be involved, but most people don't understand. But this company has taken the understanding of Noni to a whole new level, and not just the understanding of Noni, but any other competitive product that came out, to compete against.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was really
everything about every competitive product, its efficacy, its quality. I mean, just because of the labs that they have there to study them all.
Yeah.
So that was really impressive.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, that was the first time I had heard some of that information, because when you get thrown into taking the tour. So when, like, Rick Billings came out, I was the tour director. Well, I don't know anything about what they do in those labs. It's like, these are labs, aren't those impressive? But Dan was able to share some information that was really a benefit, and I appreciated that very much. But going back before that, Aaron, I think that you touched on something that I really want to expand that a little bit, because, and it's about thinking bigger. And all of us, from time to time, we go through ebbs and flows in our belief, in our thinking. I've told my story about before I came to ARIIX, how I kind of lost my mojo and was wondering after some numerous conversations, had the industry passed me by? Do I still have what it takes to be successful in the industry? You start doubting yourself. And that can happen with some negative experiences. It can happen with negative feedback. You go out and talk to 20 people and all 20 of them say you're crazy, then maybe you start to wonder if you are. And then you come to an environment like this, and there's many people who have been on these calls for years. And you may still be thinking about this company in the way you did 2 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 7 years ago, or even if you've been here long enough to be here 9.5 years ago. It is very, very different. Now, the owners started and said, we're going to be one of the big three, Amway, Avon, and ARIIX. And we're all like, yeah. And so we went out and communicated, yeah, we're going to be one of the big three. But how many of us really, really believed that when we said it? And now I don't have any doubt. So let's kind of evolve that a little bit.
Well, the silver platter has never been more in our face than it is right now, literally. Like, we are being handed the silver platter. So we need to open up our eyes and realize that and take advantage of that now, because now is the time for sure. Go ahead, Aaron.
Did you see that little that
now.
dig?
Oh yeah, I'm first.
Yeah. No, guys, we're not going to be one of the big three. We're creating the category all of our own. We're not going to be. This company is not a follower company. This company is a leader, and it's not going to lead in this industry. It's changing this industry. And so what you and I have to quickly embrace is change. I promise you, if you're not in the space in your mind where you understand or know how to embrace change, the one thing that I would suggest that you work on is that. In change is good. It's just different. Different's not bad. Look at what's happening in the world. And you guys, the first to figure out this space in this new way of doing business will absolutely dominate our old space of what we call network marketing. We're going to have different verbiages, different processes. It's so out of the box, Rick, what's going to happen. And it's already happening, you guys. We just haven't been laid out those pieces of the puzzle yet. And those pieces are coming quickly. Okay. They're coming very quickly. And so you and I, as leadership, and you might say, well, I'm not a leader. You're a leader because you made a decision, and you're going to build a team of people that are going to follow that decision you made. So therefore, every single person here is a leader in some way, shape, or form. You and I get to decide how big of team we want to help to grow. You and I get to pour into the whole and have, and again, an abundance mentality, because the company has an abundance mentality. But none of that matters if I'm not willing to embrace change. Everything is not going to go fluid. That I promise you. Never has, never will, in anything. So why would we get upset when something doesn't go how we think it should go? As long as we're moving forward and can adjust and adapt and fix and overcome. And that's why I love our company. That's why I love, you guys weren't on our partners call, but Rick, the first thing he says, hey, listen, you know what? I take responsibility for this that happened at this time. That's real leadership. I take responsibility, but this is what we're doing, or this is what I've done, or this is what the team's doing, so that doesn't happen again. It's an environment where people are okay to say, hey, I made a mistake, but everybody else comes around to say, hey, let's not you fix it. Let's all, what can we do? And Rick, that collaboration, and that starts at the top, you guys. But then as it flows down, and here's the thing that you and I got to understand. No one is more or less important than the other. I'm going to say that again. No one is more less less important than the other. So the person that just got started yesterday, and this is your first experience, you're just as important as a Rick Redford and what he does daily. You're just as important as an Omar running the customer support. You're just as important as the person that's down there in the manufacturing, putting the stuff in the bottle. See, and that's what, again, I'll go back to Carol. She's just as important as the CEO, because you guys, everybody needs to do their part. But you and I, if we're not willing to embrace change and new ways of doing things, we're going to get left behind. And you want a company that's willing to go out there and think so outside the box. I can prove it. Look at the companies today that are thriving in this environment over the last 6 to 8 months. They are companies that thought outside the box without exception. Those that were doing the same old, and listen, I feel bad for anybody on here that's a traditional business owner, and you've been, like, my heart goes out to you. And I hope that's one of the reasons you're on here, because you realize there's got to be a better way, at least to supplement in these types of situations, at the very least. But I can't keep trying to put the 8-track in the CD player. It's not going to work. For those of you that are young, an 8-track is a little thing that we use on. Rick's got a whole collection of those. No, I'm teasing.
It's true though.
Right. I mean, like, yeah, it's like CDs we don't even use. Like, you guys, we got to embrace change, but change is good. So that Rick, to me, that is the biggest thing. And I've watched it happen where, you know, of course, negative change stops people, but I've watched positive change halt people because it's not what they thought it should be in their mind. That's why we need to all expand our mind and say, listen, I don't know exactly what these processes are going to look like. They're just going to be really good, and I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to learn it, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to be a part of it. Yeah. And the best thing about this, you guys, is we all get to choose individually. No one person chooses for you. We choose for ourselves how much of a part of this we want to be. And listen, here's what's cool. There's no limit. If we're a $20 billion company, you literally get to decide how much of that you want to participate in. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to say, nope, Rick, you can't, Queenie, you can't participate in that $10 million. You know what, Samantha, you can't participate in that $40 million. Carl, you know what, that $25 million. No, you guys, the only person that dictates that is you and I, and our willingness to do what? Just a couple things. Embrace change, expand our vision, and serve the masses. That's it. That's all we have to decide to do. How many people are you willing to serve? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to share the full story every day? How many times a day? And as you get new teammates, are you willing to help them, develop them, and help them grow and expand their mind and everything that we've been talking about? Guys, where else on the planet can you and I determine our destiny?
Not many places. I was thinking, I'm trying to think of an answer and I couldn't, but I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And I think that people always talk about momentum. You know, momentum is one of those words in the industry that's probably the most overused ever, but nobody else has been able to think of another word that describes kind of what happens within a company and organization. I defined a momentum one time as being tens and maybe hundreds of thousands of people performing consistent daily effort. That really is all it is. And so let's break it down. If you agree with that, let's break it down a little bit into how to create momentum in your own organization. I'm going to set you up with two things. One is an organization is a direct reflection or a reflection of their leader. Meaning, if you want to look at your own bad habits, look at your kids. An organization is a reflection of their leader. And number two, if their leader is teaching and not working, and what Brent says is lead with the tongue in your shoes and not the tongue in your mouth. You could hear Brent saying that, Brent Palmer. Take those two things and let's talk about that for a few minutes. Meaning, How do you create momentum in your own organization, understanding that the leader is a reflection, an organization is a reflection, and how important it is for that leader to set a pace by the tongue in their shoes versus the tongue in their mouth?
Pretty simple, right? I mean, one, it goes back to a decision, deciding what you want, what are you willing to give? You got to start there, right? Some people call that their why, but a lot of people come up with their why, what they want. Few decide what they're willing to give to get it. Right? So once you determine those two things, what do I want? What am I willing to give? Then you guys, there's not a different way to say the same thing. You have to take action. You have to, every single day, decide what you're going to do to get what you decided what you wanted. And Rick, the mirror, the reflection of your team is this. They're only going to do typically a small percentage of what you do to a point. And that's where this industry, for lack of a better word, trumps every other industry. Because if I'm willing to do more than anybody else, in traditional business, we've been conditioned that sometimes a few of them maybe get a promotion, but in general, if I'm willing to do more than everybody else, I come early, I stay late, I outperform, especially in manufacturing, because I know a lot of people. Everybody around you starts to say, hey, bro, listen, you're making us look bad. And they tend to pull you back down. But here, what happens is you'll start to attract, I call it the attractor factor. You'll start to attract like-minded people. That starts to propel or perpetuate your business, which ultimately creates real momentum in you started it. Now, the magic is once that starts to go, because for all of us, it takes time. And for many of us, we get tired and it feels like, Rick, but I've been doing this. I've been doing these activities. And you said I was going to get momentum. And you said this was going to work. And I've been on these calls and I'm recruiting, an average of one person, but it hasn't caught yet. And my message back to you is that's okay. Keep going, because the magic is it takes one, and all of a sudden it will seem like overnight where this big thing just starts going. When will that happen for me? Because I heard somebody just say that. When will that happen for me? That little voice that was in your head. When will that happen for me? I don't know. I just know it will only happen if you're doing what you're supposed to do. I can guarantee it will never happen if you're waiting for someone else to do what you want them to do.
Yeah. Or hoping that the people that you signed up that haven't done anything yet are going to go out and pull your team along for you.
If you want them to do something, do more.
Amen. Yeah.
Let me interject one thing, because this is really important.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna include you in this. If you want to see how to create momentum, look at our corporate leadership. Go back, Fred and Mark and Riley and Jeff and Ian and Deanna and Winhan. Go back and look at the first 7 years of our company's life. It's still today, but really go back to their first 7 years. Very few people on this tonight have been here 7 years. I promise you. And then ever since Rick was here, you guys understand when we didn't have the little restrictions, Rick was out working in almost any network marketer out here. From the network marketing side, going from town to town to town to town, plus doing his corporate job. So he was out working us 2 to 1. Fred and Ian, how many trips did Jeff take to China? Like 45? Yeah. You guys, but they'd land and they wouldn't say, boy, I'm tired. They'd land and somebody'd pick them up and they'd go to a presentation, and then they had to come back to the hotel and do their corporate job. That's what's so cool. And they're still in the trenches. They're still out here fighting. Sure, they're going to get the reward. But who are they fighting for? They're fighting for an opportunity for you and I.
Amen.
And that's, Rick, that is rare. I know a lot of companies. I know a lot of company owners. They get it to a point and they're kind of just sitting on the hill going, hey, come on, guys, go get them. Go get them. You know what? You're not getting them enough. I'm going to change. I'm going to make a change so I can still keep my lifestyle. I'm going to lessen your lifestyle because I'm not willing to jump back in there and go and create new. Guys, our owners are creating new opportunities, and they're reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting both their time and their money. Sure, it's for them and their futures, but I want the pastor of my church not to drive an old broken down car. I don't want the pastor of my church to live in a beat up old house, right? I want the owners, I want the executive team, I want them to keep growing financially, because that means we're all growing financially. We should all want that for them because they all want that for us. And it's amazing, Rick, but I probably didn't answer your question totally correctly that way you wanted me to, but our efforts are in direct proportion. Yeah. What else we got to do is follow the leadership. And then you become a leader and you determine, what can I do? Can I work harder? I firmly believe that none of us, there's nobody here that I believe, personal opinion, that shouldn't be out trying to sponsor every week. Yeah. Nobody's got too big of a team. Mm-mm. And the opportunity here is never going to be better. Is it going to be great 10 years from now? Absolutely. It'll never be better than today. Never. I love Ken Bailey. I love Ken. You know, when's the best time to plant an oak tree, right? Or, you know, actually he said something else about sitting on an acorn and hoping it'll grow or something like that. I don't know what his thing is. I'm not good with jokes, but you guys, the timing is a real thing. People that say, boy, if I'd have known what I know now, or today, what I'd known back then, you're going to say that. Yeah. Rick doesn't have to do this A-team call. I mean, it's every Thursday night, you know, I mean, he's taking time out of his life. Nobody asked him to do that. Why does he do it? Because he wants you to win. Guys, that's rare. And I think for all of us, and I'm including me in this, and Ginger's including herself in this, I believe we owe it to them to do our part because they're willing to do their part. And together, we become unstoppable.
Yeah, and I thank you for those words. I would definitely say mimic what Aaron and Ginger do, and you will be successful as well. I believe very strongly in what you think about and where your mind is directed. That's where your efforts are going to be spending the most amount of time with. And most of you know I'm a last man standing, still carrying around a Franklin Day Planner. The first two things in my planner every single day, well, the first one is always daily plan. So I plan every day ahead of time. And this, whether you're doing this part-time as a side hustle or whether you're doing it full-time, it doesn't matter. This is still, first one says daily plan. So every night I plan ahead. I look at what my priorities are. I rank my priorities. Number one, A1 is US sales. A2 is Canada sales. I started doing that about 9 months ago, and maybe a year ago. Doesn't mean I didn't not start planning until a year ago. I've been doing that my whole life, but it's no coincidence that a lot of maybe it was about a year and a half ago actually, because many of the same acquisitions and the things that we're enjoying today have come out of just what can I do to support those two things every day. And that's something all of us can do. It's within all of us to have that laser focus on number one priority, US sales. What can I do to help you increase sales? Because I don't sell anything, you do. What can I do to help you? Who can I contact? What leader do I know that I haven't contacted for a while? Those are questions that you could ask yourself every day to help you, remind you of what you can do. And that's just something that I live by and I believe very strongly in. I'm going to share something, and a few of you know this and most of you don't, how the whole NewAge and ARIIX thing started. And it's so interesting to me. One day somebody said, have you talked to Miranda in a conversation I was having with them? And I said, no, I've thought about it. And they said, did you know they were acquired by NewAge Beverage? And I said, I had no idea. When was that? And they said, about a year and a half ago. I said, well, who do you know at NewAge Beverage? And they said, I don't know anybody. So basically found out the CFO's name, found out his phone number, and I cold called the CFO of NewAge Beverage. And I said to him, hey, this is Rick Redford. You don't know me, but I'm the general manager of North America for RX. And I was wondering if NewAge Beverage would be interested in divesting themselves of Miranda. I mean, that is a kind of a bold thing to do, but I thought, what do I have to lose? I thought about it for about 15 minutes before I called. I'm like, man, I don't know him. And you go through that whole thing. Oh, the phone's too heavy and it's never going to amount to anything. And then, say, how would you feel about divesting yourselves? And he went through we talked for about 45 minutes. And he said, this has been a really good phone conversation. I said, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I said, it ended with nothing like I thought it was going to, but do you think that the owner of NewAge would be interested in sitting with the owners of RX? And that was the second call. And within 30 days, there was an agreement in place. You just never know what that next phone call is going to do for you. And I don't say that to pat my back. That's not what this is about, because I didn't do anything out of the norm other than just every day, what can I do for US sales? Make a cold call that I didn't know what an outcome was going to feel like. You can do the same thing every day in your own business, in your own lives. Focus and action. Just focus and action. So I that sounded bad. It sounded like I was trying to blow my own horn, and I'm really not. That's not the point of it. I just was trying to make a point.
Here, if anybody's taking notes, true story, that question will change the trajectory of your business and your daily activity. If you ask yourself, what can I do to support my team every day? If you just woke up and that was the first thing, Rick, that you guys, seriously, that is gold. But here's the thing, you need to write it out, and then you need to say it. And I promise you, your subconscious mind is going to go into action in just guys, for the rest of the year. If every 150 people, whatever's on here, and anybody that's going to watch it later, if everybody would just write out a statement like that, what can I do today to improve? Rick, you're going to have to buy a new Zoom room. Seriously, because that is, I don't believe people understand the power of a question that you ask yourself like that. Because when you ask yourself that, really, seriously, that, no joke, when you are saying that, there's no wonder why you're getting a result, because you're conditioning your mind, and your mind doesn't know the difference between reality or not. And it's going to say, oh, he's asking me this question, I must find an answer. And it just happens. And that answer might come in the form of an idea, but then because you keep asking that question, that idea has to be acted upon. And it's that action that normally I would bet you that if you had not been conditioning yourself that long, and that popped in your head, hey, I wonder if, you might have just let it slip by, and what might have happened or not happened, actually, in this case. But you couldn't help it. Even though it was hard, it overcame that. And how many of you guys have ever had a thought like, I should call so-and-so, and then quickly talked yourself out of it because of what Rick said? But had you have been conditioning yourself with that question every day, I can almost guarantee you would have made the call. And many times it's those people that 6 months from now, 12 months from now, are the guests that you're featuring, because they're the top recruiter, they're the fastest growing team. Because they got through that short little time when their mind wanted to talk them out of doing something, but their conditioning overcame that, and they did it anyway. That was gold.
That was good stuff.
It was good stuff.
That was good stuff.
Every once in a while. So I'm going to give you the last word, Ginger, for you first, and then Aaron. If the call ended right now and you got off the call and said, "Oh, I wish I would have said," what would that have been?
You know, after these past 2 days here, there's definitely a fire in us. Not that we didn't have a fire before, a fire burning even deeper than it was before. And so if you're not where you want to be with our company, now is the time to take that action. Now is the time. We have so much opportunity here. You know, if you want to get out of the, what do they call it? The crab in the bucket situation in corporate America, where you can never, this industry is it, but it's the networking combined with the social selling, combined with our incredible products, combined with the vision that our executives have. Latch onto that energy, latch onto your team's energy, you know, take advantage of that right now. The silver platter is sitting right in front of you.
Awesome. Aaron?
I told you this earlier today, Rick. The one thing in my life that I feared the most, that held me back from, quite honestly, doing many things in my life, and I was able to overcome it, but I had to work really hard at it. That one thing was losing my father, and recently did, guys. But that was my greatest fear. But I made out that circumstance so worse than it really was in my mind. I didn't think I would be able to make it. Like, I can't even begin to tell you guys. I mean, panic attacks, I can tell you stories all night long. Find out quickly what's holding you back. Because it's not the comp plan, it's not the products, it's not the support, it's not the, it doesn't even matter about our crappy websites. None of, because there's still a bunch of people making a bunch of money. It's nothing except for something like I did. I allowed something that I was afraid of. I was so fearful. And I allowed it to hold me back. And that one thing just happened. And it wasn't as bad as I made it out to be. Quit thinking so much. Just quit thinking so much. So the only, my quit thinking and just really just do it. Don't look back. Don't overthink. Just take, I mean, we're on the A-team call. It's action. Guys, go out tomorrow and take action like you've never taken. Finish this year every single day. Say, you know what, that's it. I'm so sick and tired of getting on these calls, of going to these events and telling myself something that I'm going to do and allowing that I promise you, it's probably just one thing. And I can tell you this for sure. That one thing that's holding you back isn't as bad as you think. And when you break through that thing, you become unstoppable.
Thank you. You've designed calls and you do a lot of meetings in your home and a lot of Zooms, and you prayerfully or thoughtfully or however you approach it, you think, how can I make an impact? You know, how can I, whether it's the guest that I invite, whether it's a combination of guests. Tuesday night was magical. Tonight was magical. And that doesn't happen. I don't believe it happens by coincidence. I think there were people on this call that had to hear that tonight. There were people on this call tonight that were touched by the things that you said. So thank you for being the leaders you are and for giving of your time. I know you're tired. This has been a whirlwind of a couple of days, and safe travels to you tomorrow. I ended the recording and I'm going to unmute the line. So